Hey guys, my name is Braden Owens. I'm going to be doing a presentation on the underlying message behind the Headstrong Historian by Chimamanda Adichie. So before we start, I just wanted to say that some of my peers have done presentations on this story and I felt like they did a really good job. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on necessarily the story and the background as much as I am the theme and what we can draw from this, because I find that my peers, like I said, my peers have already done a pretty good job covering it, so I don't feel like I don't have to cover it again and kind of want to put my own spin on it. So, here we go. Adichie was born in Nigeria in 1977, shortly after the Civil War. So, this was said that it probably impacted her writings, which I found interesting because she grew up in a pretty tumultuous time period. The Igbo people she was actually native to, they had just lost the Civil War. So, she had very well educated parents. Both worked at the University of Nigeria. She attended actually 3 universities: Eastern Connecticut State University, Johns Hopkins, and Yale. And this is her at a speech at Harvard not too long ago, 2014 or 2015, I think. I'm not really sure. Okay, so the story. Like I said, my peers have covered this pretty well, but I'm going to go over it a little bit just for context. The protagonist is a woman named Nwamba. At a young age, she falls in love with a man named Obarika and they marry. They have several miscarriages, but finally they have a baby boy. The child is named Anakinwa, and Nwamba is terrified that Obarika's cousins will attempt to get rid of their child. Oh, okay, so go back. Not long after the boy is born, Obarika is poisoned, and he dies, and his cousins take his land. So the child's born, and Nwamba's terrified that the cousins are going to do the same to her child because he's seen as a threat, you know. So as a result, she sends him to a Catholic mission to learn English, to fight the cousins in court and win back Obarika's land. And this is important because the white man had started to control a lot of the court, the Nigerian court, and they were showing bias towards the people that learned English. She thought if he learned English, that he could go in there and impress the white men, excuse me, and maybe win the land back, despite the fact that it was justly theirs anyways. He does end up learning English very well, actually, but he adopts a lot of English customs. He becomes Catholic. He doesn't really associate with any of his mother's customs, which really hurts her, I think, and he kind of sees them as savages, even though he's one of them, which I found was very interesting. So he uses his Christian name, and refuses to participate in any of his mother's customs. And his mother begins to see him as like a different person, not even their tribe anymore, her son, really, you know? And he pretty much runs off, and he has a granddaughter that comes back and sees her, and she sees her husband and her granddaughter, and when she dies, her granddaughter's actually there holding her hand. So this story takes place during the scramble for Africa. It was the time period that many Western people hurried to colonize Africa. 13 European colonies in the United States were all involved in this race. So this explains why the white men were in the court. They took over every aspect of the people's lives, pretty much demolished their culture over some material and trade. Why I think this story is important is this is an opposing viewpoint on us. We're the villains in the story. And it shows the consequences of our actions. I feel like it really humbled me to see the outside in, because we didn't really learn about the injustice that occurred during the scramble for Africa. We saw it as, oh, they needed to be saved, or this is a conquest, you know. But there were real people hurt, and there were real people affected by this, just us wanting to trade and convert them and educate them. They weren't savages. And I think that just goes to show how one-sided our history system is. I think that this this is an important aspect of the class, is to learn about other cultures, excuse me, and get kind of an opposing viewpoint, and that's why I find this story important. And then these are my works cited. Thank you. Have a good day.